Hi there guys, and welcome to another FPV guide video. I'm Bo Lorenzen, the FPV guy. Today I'm going to be taking a look at another new Walkera micro multi-rotor. As you know, I've been looking at new multi-rotors from Walkera for a couple of years now. And for a while there, they were not really innovating in the smaller classes. However, with the Rodeo 150, they're completely changed everything, and this is really a nice little kit. I gotta tell you, this is probably one of my favorite micro kits at the moment. It's just a fun garden flyer. It's not really a razor per se. However, if a bunch of your friends have one of those, of course, then you have a class razor because you can raise them against your friends. Anyway, enough talk. Let's take a look at the box. First of all, if you see the top here, you can see that is the front of the 150, and this particular kit comes with a Devo 7, which is an older but great, it's like a real radio, and it's included in this kit. Flip it over, and on the back side, here is another graphic of the aircraft. So let's get into this box. Look at this carry handle. So this thing has a built-in, quite nice little carry handle. This is basically the kit you can take out and go flying with. So let's pop this open, and inside, again, we're finding this really nice foam that Walkera has been using lately. This is a nice case that you can actually use. And up here on top, of course, is the manual. Let's just pull these out. And this was actually in a sealed plastic bag that I cut open. So just so you don't think it comes in an open bag. It comes with a full manual on a DVD. You can also download it from the website. It comes with a couple of disclaimers here, and here is the manual. Flipping into that, you'll have the definition of the aircraft, the different settings, and the flight modes, which basically is very stable, not so stable, completely wild. That's not exactly what they call them, but you'll find that out once you start flying. And in the back here is also how to set up the Devo 7 in case you lose your settings, or in case you want to set up and use, say, your 14 channel radio with a built-in monitor. You can do that also. All right, so let's put that away. And moving down here is the actual aircraft. Isn't this just a cool little aircraft? I feel it looks like a grasshopper with the two antennas coming back here. Of course, when you fly, these two antennas are gonna come up a little bit like that. If you turn it around, it looks like I got a little bit of grass stains on it. I must have been flying this already. Here you see, let's go over here. Here is actually a 5-volt power output, and there is a external radio access for the flight controller. And way down here, you can probably see it says there you have the option to switch to PPM for the controller. So you have quite a lot of interesting facilities here, and you have a USB plug up on the side. On the tail here, we have a antenna plug, and I'm just gonna grab this thing. Here is a little included antenna. We're gonna put that on top. To be honest with you, I would right away put a little mushroom antenna on that. And up front here, you can see the camera. Look at that, and importantly, you can, with a little bit of force, push it upward quite a lot, like more than 45 degrees. So you guys out there, and you know who you are, who likes to fly like this, will still be able to see the horizon. Now, of course, most of us mere mortals don't fly like that, so we'll probably want it down in like 30 to 45 degrees for me. Putting the camera like that means that when I'm flying at speed, I'm seeing a level and I can see the horizon and also where I'm landing. The downside always is when I come in to land, I slow down, and now I no longer can see the ground. So I kind of come in like this, then I do like this, and I almost crash into the ground. But that's because I like to get some more speed going. Anyway, that's the aircraft. It comes with these neat little propellers here. And it also has, let's see what we got here in the case, is two different types of, here's one USB cable. that probably fits right into here. And here is a trainer cable, so you can connect your controller to another similar controller with a trainer cable, and you'll be able to fly it. Over on the side here, we find a little 1000, it's a 2S 1000 milliamp battery. Let me hold that up so you can see it. Here is the battery. Now the way this comes in is very simple. You actually have to release this little latch on the back. So you pull up on that, and now the bottom comes off. Then the next thing you do is you put the battery down, and you kind of have to get this little balance tap out of the way, stick it down here, then you connect it, and finally, that's noisy, isn't it? So finally, what you do is you plug this thing right in, and you can kind of sneak it down here. There, like that. It's all the way in. Can you see that? Now, to get it back out, we have to go back to the tap up here, push on that, and it comes out like that, and then we just disconnect it and we're in business. Or rather, we've disconnected it and no more noise. Now, I gotta be perfectly honest with you, this thing drives me nuts. So let me show you what I ended up doing. Battery, aircraft. Velcro. So we just grab a patch of Velcro, and I put Velcro inside the bottom here. And the way we do that is I just grab one of the hooks here, put it on the battery, right about on the middle right here. Wrap the battery around the sides a little bit. And then I cut a little bit off the side of one of the fuzzy parts. I stuck the part to it like this. See, so now the fuzzy part is here. And I just kind of put it on here. Now center the battery, and then you just kind of sneak it in and push it all the way in. And now you have installed your other half of the Velcro. I already did that. As you noticed, I got grass stain on my little multi-rotor. So the way I use it now, I put the cable and power in. Opposite that, I push it in until it sticks, move it a little bit, and plug it in, and I'm in business. And it's not coming out. So that's how I use it now, and it's a lot easier to deal with. No need to slide the lid in, but that's no big deal. For me, this is still the same aircraft, and like I said before, I love the look of this aircraft. It is probably one of the coolest designs from Walkera ever. And it's not a little brushed unit. These are actually brushless units, and that means when you learn to fly on this thing, all the skills you develop here, you can transfer them to a bigger racing multicopter later. So this is a really good little, I would say indoor, but it's really not. This is a garden, backyard. It's good to fly where there's grass, because if you must crash, it is plastic. It's very strong. I've seen this take some serious beating, but it's not outright carbon fiber. So I would fly over grass with this. Now, before we move to the next layer, over here is a couple of extra sets of propellers. When you fly things like this, I would say go ahead and order a whole bunch of extra propellers, simply because you are going to be needing them. Let me pull them out. You can see what they look like. They're neat little, very clean little castings. And of course, by today's standards, they are self-locking. So you don't have to use any tools. You just twist them down and you are in business. Next layer. This comes out, and the detail camera should show you all the details right about here. Here is now the Devo 7, and let's get all the parts out. First of all, it comes with the standard charger and Walkera standard 2S, 3S charger. That is the unit right here, and I should really quickly. So this one here plugs into the back of this unit, like that, and it plugs into any power outlet, and you're ready to go. So as you know, this is where I put the Velcro, and this is the main connector and the 2S power trap. And if you look at the charger, here's a 3S and a 2S. Pushing that in right there, and now this is ready to charge, and it's gonna take about probably half an hour to charge with this setup. It's not super fast, but it really doesn't have to be. But to be honest with you, unless you really want to charge fast and you're going through a bunch of batteries, this goes a long way, because in an afternoon you can charge 3-4 batteries. And more importantly, by not being super powered, this kind of charger is kind of gentle on your batteries, and I like that. There. Still, it's a 2S system, and it's completely compatible with every other charger out there in the world. So if you want more horsepower, it's easy to get more horsepower. Of course, the main thing in here is the Devo 7. Let's get it out. And there it is. By today's standard, this is obviously a little bit of an older design, but that doesn't really bother me. On the contrary, I like this radio. It's a full-size radio. You can grip it, and it has the right ergonomics so that your fingers can reach the different switches and engage while you're flying. So this is like a pro-size radio, which I really like. I've been flying the F7 radio forever. It is a radio that uses AA batteries. It uses 8 AA batteries, but again, that doesn't bother me, because this radio goes forever on a set of batteries. You can still buy a LiPo battery that fits in here and plug that in instead. But why spend the money? It goes forever on AA's. No need to upgrade something that's working perfectly fine. All right, so up on top here, we have the most important switch button. Right here, the mix. It has the 3 flight modes on the switch. And what you basically do is, all the way up is stability. Go down 1, it is a bit faster and wilder, and go all the way down. And now you have full acro, and you can roll it by just flipping, going hard. It is now in rate mode. Put the switch all the way to the side and you will roll the aircraft. I suggest, if you're new to flying, start out all the way up. That is in stability mode, and that is where you need to start learning. As soon as you get a bearing on it, start flipping it down and get used to something that runs faster and more fun. Back up here, and let's try to turn these things on. So now you can see I have the radio right here. I'm gonna put the battery back in. Before we fire up the aircraft, we want to make sure a couple of things. Of course, we're gonna start out by turning on the radio. We also want to make sure we have an antenna on here. And as you can see right now, we have the stock antenna in place. However, you can pick up some fairly reasonable mushroom antennas from Walkera's website, and I would just grab one. Here's one that has had a bit of abuse, and it's like kind of beaten to pieces, but it will be fairly easy. You just do like this, unscrew this, and attach the other antenna by doing like that. That's all there is to it. That will give you a bit more range. You need to use a matching antenna on your goggles. So let's take this off and stick the stock antenna on again, since we are of course talking about a stock aircraft. I love how this looks. I just love how this looks. So let's start out by turning on the radio. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go right here and turn on and tuck the battery in a little bit. And there we go. This is up, and now let's see if we can get the first. I fly Fat Shark goggles usually, and when I look right here, you can kind of see should be able to see me now, and I can see myself right here. So if I look in the camera, I don't know if you can see that, maybe not. There it is. You can see a little bit. So there you can see we do have some video right here. So we've got video on the Fat Sharks, which is great. This will work with my Fat Sharks. I like that. But the goggle that I gotta tell you, I'm really liking the new Goggle 4 from Walkera. It's a cool design and it fits my head good. Not everybody likes it equally, so it really depends how it fits you. Let's turn that on. We just turn it on here. The USB chargeable battery brick is on the back here. Push the switch up, and let's take a look inside. You can see the green startup screen. And there you go. Now we have video, and we're basically able to see the video from the aircraft. And again, I'm really liking this. Let me show you how this fits. It's kind of an odd design. It's kind of odd, but it's surprisingly comfortable. And about $180 with diversity receivers. That means you can have 2 different antennas, one for long range and one for shorter range. It's really actually a surprisingly good value. And let's put this one down and try to get this fired up. Now to start this up, this is a mode 2 radio, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna push the throttle stick down and to the left. So we're pushing it down like this, and now we are engaged. Let's see if this will take off for me. Let's see, it's fairly easy to fly. Let's see if we can land it again. Well, that's not too bad. So it's very easy to fly. It's incredibly stable in stability mode. Now, importantly, the skills you build flying this thing is real multi-rotor skills. It's not like flying some of the $80 plastic brushed aircraft. It's a real brushless motors. It's a real VTX. You can fly it with the goggles. So you can learn to fly FPV in the real manners. And that is of course something that transferred directly to flying like the big bad boy from Walkera, the F210. Now the F210 is really fast, it's heavy, it's very dense, and that's a high performance little quad that is a lot of fun to fly. However, I don't necessarily recommend learning on that just because it takes a lot of skill. That's where this baby comes in. The 150 is a lot lighter and it's easy to fly. Take it out in the backyard, fly around the bushes, zigzag between the trees, and this is what that thing is made for. It's great fun to fly. And oh, by the way, I see this little thing that's not closed up here. This is, here you can go in and you can change the channel for the radio, for the FPV radio. In case your radio channel is not working, or if you're flying with other friends, you want to choose different channels so that each of you can see your own video channel and not your friends' video channels. So there it is. I've already disarmed it. I'm gonna unplug this instead of letting it sit powered and pull the battery out. So that, guys, is the new Walkera Rodeo 150, and I gotta tell you, this is probably one of my favorite new micro FPV copters for this year. At least the year is not over, but at this time I am loving this little thing. It's also available in a very cool black, and I've seen people do some very, very cool customizations of the body, coloring it, painting it, doing all kinds of cool stuff to it. So that's the 150. I am gonna put up a little blog post with some links for you about this. And of course, I'm gonna take this out and go flying, and I'm gonna post some flight video from this. Before any one of you ask, no, this was not made to carry a GoPro. This is made to fly. Have fun flying it. It's not meant to be very big. It's a very small little FPV, multicopter FPV razor, micro razor. That is what it's meant to do. But you probably could stick like a Mobius under the belly or something like that if you must have video. Let me turn off the radio, put it all away. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for some flight video and also for more videos coming up. I already did an unbox video with the Goggle 4 from Walkera. I am gonna get that posted shortly, so stay tuned for that too. Make sure you click subscribe. Check out my Instagram, instagram.com/FPVguy, and of course, check this thing out from Walkera, and I'm gonna go fly this thing now.